Welcome to the Obesity Medicine Podcast with your host, Dr. Matea Rentia, board certified in internal medicine and obesity medicine. Here, we talk about a path to metabolic health, and we have real conversations about chronic weight management and living a full life. Just a reminder, I am a physician, but I'm not your physician. So everything that's on this podcast is for informational purposes, but please go talk to your doctor about what's right for you. There is no medical advice being given on this podcast. All right, welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I am so excited today. Tell me if I'm saying your name right. Schnelle Acevedo? Am I saying that?
Acevedo.
Acevado. Okay, I was like, I
Yes.
know I'm going to get this wrong, but online you're known as Nellie. I'm so excited to have you on today. I feel like it's been years now of me following you. Like you found me at some point and then I found you. So can we start
Same.
out real quick? If you can just introduce yourself and let our audience know a little bit about really all the different things you do, but then also the area that I'm bringing you in for today.
Oh, yes, for sure. So, hi everyone. I started as a food blogger in 2011, and in 2016 I realized that I had to stay home for my son. My son is special needs. I have three children. One of them is special needs. And I was getting a lot of phone calls at work and it was a lot of back and forth, and I was like, wait a second, I got to figure this out. So, I started food blogging full time. And I've been a full-time food blogger since 2016. We're coming up on my 10-year anniversary.
That's
And I
amazing.
know I'm so excited. And, to be an entrepreneur for that long is a big deal. And it's
It's a
really, really,
win.
really, it's such a win. I feel so proud of myself for that. And in the last year or so, we've had a hard time with our kids and the phones. And so I've been doing a lot of deep diving, researching, looking up things, and realizing that a lot of our kids are stuck in this bit of phones, algorithms, comparison traps, FOMO, so much that they're getting caught up in. And they're kids. They shouldn't have to deal with all of that stuff. So I have created a full curriculum to teach kids in New York City, as well as virtually, how to manage their phones, not necessarily take them away, because a lot of parents want to just take them away and put them in the drawer. And I know that sounds easy, but that's just not the way to do it. So I've been teaching kids and seniors and parents and teachers about the algorithms, how to manage them, how to deal with them. And I'm also just recently expanded this to teach all of these people how to make money online, since that's what I've been doing for the past decade.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. I can tell you, so I have a 6-year-old son, well, almost 7-year-old son.
Yeah.
And then I also have 3 stepkids and they're all older, right? Like think like, 14 up to 18. And boy, do I know with the devices, they just really want
Yeah.
to be in their room on the device all day long. And it's so scary when, and maybe we can touch on this, when you see the data of how detrimental it is to their mental health. I mean, I love watching YouTube videos and being on and TikTok
Same.
and doing all the things, but I do know how bad I feel if it's hour after hour, that I,
Yes.
I truly do not feel good. And one of the reasons I brought you on is that I think this also is really detrimental in the health space because touching on
Yeah.
what you said, when you're doing this compare and despair, it is not real a lot of the time what people are seeing, yet they're comparing themselves to that. They come into clinic, patients that I've seen for years, and they say, well, this person lost 40% of their
Yeah.
body weight and they see the
Yeah.
10 skin removal surgeries. And I'm thinking, that is not most people. Like, no one has
Yeah.
the finances to be able to do that,
Yes.
let
Yes.
alone they're not telling you that they probably had surgeries or they're on 4 meds. They're just not telling you what the
Yeah.
reality is, right?
They're seeing the final product, whatever that is.
Totally. So, where do you start with people? Like, how does someone know if this is even a problem for them with being on the phones too much?
Well, the first thing I want to ask them is, again, just like how you said, how does it make you feel? Like,
Mhm.
really, how does it make you feel? It might be a distraction. It might be taking up the time. It might be you scrolling while you're in the grocery store. But are you really taking stock of that feeling? For example, I was on Threads this morning and I saw a woman. She's a very popular food TV host. And she shared a story where she was like, hey, I have a picture of this guy from the 90s. Can anybody help me find him? So now, like, I'm invested. And I'm like, wow. Like, I was like,
I
wow,
love when
okay.
these things happen.
But wait, there's more. And I look in the comments and everybody's making jokes and it's hilarious, whatever. And then I get to the comment that said that he passed away like 14 years later, earlier, or something like that. It was pre-Katrina, so I guess longer than that. And it was just all of a sudden so sad. And I was like, that's what I get for getting on Threads this morning.
Yeah.
Because
You went down the rabbit hole.
why
Yes.
did I do that to myself? Because I was like all excited. Now all of a sudden I'm sad. But even just being conscious of that feeling, that real feeling of, you know what, maybe I should just put my phone down and get to work now,
Yeah.
instead of just looking for more things to get that dopamine going. Really just taking stock of how you feel is the biggest one.
I love that you bring that up because what I always think about every single thing we're seeing, we're having all the thoughts, all the feelings. And when were we ever in 50 different areas thinking about things 1 second after the next? And I don't think we
Never.
realize when people get to the end of the day and they're exhausted and they make poor food decisions, it's like, but how many decisions online were you making about should I watch this? Should I click on it? Should I try to
Yes.
search this out? Oh, I don't agree. I'm leaving a nasty comment. That's
Yes.
all decision fatigue. So not
Yes.
only the dopamine hit, but there's just a lot going on with this. I think we can maybe assume that pretty much everyone listening knows that they have a little bit too much of a reliance of being online, things like that.
Yeah.
So do you have any tools for how we could help not only ourselves, but also our kids or younger people in our life to decrease this consumption?
Well, yeah, for sure. The first thing I would do is set a timer. I don't think we realize how quickly the time goes when we're consuming content.
Yeah.
There is 10-minute videos, there's 30-second videos, there's 5-minute videos, and all of a sudden, we're 2 hours behind what we're supposed to be doing. Or maybe we're supposed to get up and get ready for work, and an hour has passed, and now you're late for work. Like you have to make these conscious decisions of setting timers, getting off of the phone, or even maybe not even picking up the phone in the morning, which is very foreign to a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's certain times of the year where I'm just like, I'm not going to touch my phone until after my workout because I work out in the morning. That is the number one thing. The second thing is just to really try to figure out what you need to be doing instead of being on the phone.
Hmm.
Like put that in front of you. If that's your calendar, if that is a book that you've been wanting to read, but for some reason can't find the time, what is it? Is it, do you want to go get a bike ride? Do you want to go to the park? Is there a movie that you wanted to see that you're letting go? Movies are in and out in 5 minutes these days. What is it that you want to do that you've been wanting to do that you are not doing because you're sitting at home scrolling and
Yeah.
letting other people entertain you? What is it in real life that you want right now?
Gosh, you brought up so many good things right now. The no phone in the morning. Do you know
Yeah,
how hard it's been for me to implement that? Because a lot of
it's
the
so
time
hard.
right, I mask it being noble. I'm like, but I'm seeing if a patient left a message, right? It's like, no, girl, you do not need to look at 5:30 in the morning. You need to go to
Mm-mm.
your walk. You need to
Hmm.
do your day.
Hmm.
But I think that is so powerful. And also the timer, 100% agree with you. What are your thoughts on, I know I got a while ago, it's called Brick, where
Oh yeah.
it's literally a brick, guys. It's like 2 inches by 2 inches, and it's linked to an app, but you decide, okay, when I click it, it turns off all those apps that I don't want to be on. The reason I do that is because I do still need on my phone my calculator to be able to,
Of
do
course.
formulas with my patients, things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
want to go down the rabbit hole of being on TikTok all the time or Facebook
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Instagram, whatever it might
Makes
be.
sense.
Do you recommend those kind of devices to people or apps that time out at certain periods, or do you do it more manually?
I do recommend all of them. Like anything that works for you, let it happen. For me, it was last year, I turned off all of my notifications. That was a big one for me.
Yes, that's a
So
big
I
one for me
turned
too.
off, yeah,
I
I
don't let
turned
any of
off
the
the
services.
Facebook, the Instagram, the TikTok. Like I don't know what's happening there unless I log in because that little bing was driving me crazy. I had to know what was going on. Who posted what, where, what? No. So I had to turning off the notifications for me was a big one. As far as not having like the brick and stuff like that, that's cool. That's fine. But for me personally, I play music. Okay.
Yeah.
So when I'm singing and I'm like engaged in that way, I am not thinking about what's happening on social media because I'm
Yeah.
working and I'm singing and I'm working and I'm singing, or I'm listening to a podcast. I just think that long form content is so much better for your brain versus the dopamine rush of the 30-second videos and the
Yeah.
5-minute videos.
Definitely. Yeah, I so hear you. Yeah, I'm a big podcast fan, podcast, Audible, all of
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
I feel like at the end of it, you actually know something. Like,
Yes.
what did I hear the story the other day? You know the Scrub Daddy, the little sponge?
Yes,
They were
of
on
course.
Shark Tank in the past. Okay, so there's a
Yeah.
podcast, How I Built This, and they told the story. It was incredible. Like multiple times I had chills. After that, I went and talked to my friends about it. And it was something where it uplifted me, it inspired me. I wasn't feeling depleted at the end of it. I think that's
Hmm.
beautiful. And I like this last thing that you put here with put it on the calendar, the things that you want to do. Because that's
Yes.
what I've started to do. You think, oh, I'll do the things I like here and there. No, you have to decide, I'm going to do 30 minutes of crafts tonight. And you have to lay it
Yes.
out and it has to be ready for you. And
Hmm.
it doesn't sound fun, but it's really fun when you're doing it and you know you have the
Yes.
time for it and you get
Yes.
realistic about what you can do.
And you're looking
So
forward to it.
definitely. Yeah. These are all really good tips for how people can notice it, how they could decrease their consumption some. How do we help our kids with that? Because I know some of us, they're rather addicted to the screens. Do you have tips
Yeah.
for that?
Yeah. So I have a 7-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 17-year-old.
Oh, so we're like the
Um,
same.
yeah. It's a big wide range, you know? My 7-year-old, I'm very protective of her. I do not let her have her own device, even though she's begged me to have one. I don't believe that she should have one until she gets to high school, but we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah.
My middle son, he does have a phone because he was going to middle school that was very far away at one point, so he does have a phone. However, we do have a screen time cutoff of 5:30 in the house.
Mm.
Everyone puts their devices away at 5:30. And one of the most important things I do, especially now that I've been doing all the research and presentations to kids and so forth, is I do it for them.
Yeah.
So they've become my test audience, if you will. And so I teach them about digital literacy, algorithms, and when they hear about how there's actual psychologists that are training these algorithms to keep you there as long as possible. They're like, "What are you talking about, Mom?" I'm like, "No, for real. They want you to stay. They know what you like. They know how long you engage. They know what you block. They know what you don't block. They know all of these things. And then they use it against you to keep you there even longer." And they're like, "What?" I said, "Yes, it's a whole thing because you are the product. You know, it's just
Yes.
you are the product. It's free for a reason. It's because you are the product and they want to show you more ads. And the more ads you see, guess what? The more money they make.
I
So I have to
know.
literally tell them the whole process. And then once they kind of step back and look at that, I'm not saying that they will reduce their screen time because they still love it, but they look at it from a different point of view. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's not so much of, oh, mom is being mean and she's making me put the phone down. It's like, oh no, mom actually knows what she's talking about. So let me put the phone down. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah, this knowledge is so much power. You know what it's reminding me of? It's kind of like
Mm.
with the food industry, how they make things super hyper palatable. Yeah,
Yes,
they too have the food scientists. They're sticking them in the imaging machines. What's your brain doing when you're thinking about it, eating it? And they're trying to make that bliss point with the food so you overconsume it. I feel like this is the same thing, right? Where it's like if and
absolutely.
maybe you still have the processed food, but if you're not aware of how much they're screwing with you, it's really
Yes.
detrimental. So I love that you're doing this education. How early do you think we should be starting with educating kids on this?
So I start from third grade to fifth grade.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm not teaching them necessarily about algorithms, but I'm teaching them about protecting their information. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what they're going to do is my mommy's name is I live here.
Yeah.
You know, all of these crazy important data points that other strangers on the internet do not need to know.
Yeah.
I teach them about cyberbullying and even comment culture because they're seeing it on YouTube. They see all the comments, screenshot culture, all of these things I'm teaching the third to fifth graders about. Unfortunately, I can't really do much for the K to second with them. I'd rather talk to their parents and
Yes.
have them understand that leaving the babies on the iPad for 6 hours is horrible for their brains.
Yeah.
Let's go play a game, friends. Let's go play a board game. And I understand that there's a lot of apps that teach, which is great.
Right.
But at the same time, they still don't need to be on the screen for as long as
I know.
possible,
I
you
mean,
know?
I get it. Parents are exhausted.
Oh, we
I
all are.
really
Yeah.
believe that everyone's trying to do their best. And I think that it kind of crept away on little feet and we didn't realize it. It just got so
Mm-hmm.
far out of control. And now we
Mm-hmm.
have the data. Now we see how detrimental all these things are.
Yeah,
So I love that how it's basically, yeah, because I feel when kids are younger, the parents cannot introduce the device. They have a lot more control. And what you're
for
talking
sure.
about, the third to fifth grade, like sometimes they get a device at school. This actually really
Yeah.
annoyed me when my son went to, well, it was even in kindergarten. They had an iPad and they have to take it home. I was like, why
Yeah.
do they have to take it
What's
home?
the
Why
point?
can't we?
My daughter too.
Yeah. So it was
Yeah.
really interesting. And I remember he found like loopholes how to get on kids' YouTube because they had it blocked.
Wow.
But he
Yeah.
found when you go through the help screen, like the little help video, then you kind of like Jimmy rigged it. And we talked to the teacher, we tried to fix all this stuff. But the reality is, if you're not watching what they're doing, you
So
don't know what's happening.
I can go on for days about that because actually we ended up banning YouTube in my house, which is like it sounds insane, but
No, it
you'll hear
doesn't.
you'll understand why. Like because my daughter like right after the pandemic, I would say like maybe 2023, 2024, she was really into these doll videos where these dolls are talking
Yeah.
and they have these adult voices on them and all of this
Yeah.
stuff. And someday she was just right next to me and I heard some of the language and it was just like, wow. It was so crazy because if you look from even 6 feet away, it's dolls that are playing.
It's
But if you
deceptive. Yeah.
hear,
Yeah.
it's really awful. At one point, I was just like, I'm so sorry, baby, but we can't do this no more. And she was okay with it. She's fine now. It's really about really K through two, well, K through five, really just monitoring what they are looking at and not just giving it to them and walking away, constantly looking, hearing what they're looking at.
I feel like people now have a little bit of an understanding for themselves, for their kids. Can we switch gears a little bit? One, the comparison factor, because I think it's huge, and then also how to spot if accounts are fake, because I think this is really big in the health space. What advice do you give around people not comparing? Because I think like you're going to be online, you're going to look at stuff, but what do you tell people? I don't know. What am I trying to ask here with comparison?
I think what you're trying to ask is, I mean, for what I would respond is just you don't know the whole story. And I always approach everyone with that. Even my best friend of 20 years, I still don't know the whole story. I'm still learning about that girl. You just don't know the whole story. And what you're being fed is something that is packaged and gorgeous and has been practiced many times. And I think it's so important to be good with yourself and understand that what you most things online even it's no longer 1999. Most things online are no longer genuine and authentic.
It's
It's a
all
show. It's a bit of a
it is
show,
totally.
guys.
I'm so glad that you bring this up because even I would like to think, oh, I'm sharing genuinely who I am, things like that. But I'm thinking, no, I don't share every single struggle. I don't
You gotta
share.
produce some of it.
I know it's like I'm not saying every coach I'm working with, oh my gosh, if we talked about all the things, people would think we're a mess.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I agree that you never know the full story. I think I try to always say that too with the health stuff that they don't even know everything
They
about
don't know.
themselves. They don't even know the genetics and what's going
They
on.
have no.
Do you think, are there ways for people to spot if an account is made with AI or it's fake in general?
There's a couple of ways. The first thing is trust your gut, friends, because so many times I've come across a video and I'm like, ooh, that feels off. That feels weird. And it's just like it's immediate, right? It's just,
Yeah. Yeah.
ooh, that feels weird. And then I go into the comments to confirm. I'm like, is
Me too.
it
I'm
me?
like, is it me?
It's like, is it me? And then immediately everybody's like, AI, AI, AI. I'm like, yes, period. You know, like it's still working. So trust your gut is the number one thing. The second thing is always check the profile because TikTok especially has these horrible profiles that are mainly geared towards getting people upset, rage baiting,
Yeah.
and then having them click on the bio. For example, this one is terrible. I'm sorry to bring it up, but it's just my number one. When I talk to the high schoolers, this is my number one example. There is a company called cheaterbuster.com, and they have hired content creators to create these out of control stories about husbands that are cheating and are going on various apps. Like if you think about the worst case scenario of what your husband could be doing, they're doing it. They're talking about
Yeah.
it,
So they're
right?
like writing
And
stories.
then,
Yeah.
it's really dramatic, right? So they're like showing up at mistresses' houses and it's just like really salacious, right? And, but it's several of them. So they have millions and millions of views. You look at their reply videos and it's like, everybody wants to know how I found out. And it's actually this website called cheaterbuster.com. All an ad. It's all an ad. They have done this over every time I find one in my FYP, I screenshot it and I show the different people that are doing the same thing. And again, you have engaged millions of people.
Yeah.
Millions of people are angry now. They have
Yeah.
responded, they have left a diary's full worth of comments.
Yeah.
Girl, you should leave him. I would never. There's so much,
Yeah.
right? It's all in the profile. If you see something like that and it's starting and it's like salacious and it's absolutely out of control, look at the profile.
Yeah.
They probably don't have a lot of followers. They've probably done this over and over and over. They probably have a different version of it over and over and over in their profile. So
Yeah.
I think that's like my second thing is just making sure that someone is not purposely getting you angry to get you to click on a website.
Totally. Yeah, not only the fake aspect, but I also find it so unethical because I do think some
Yeah.
people that are real are doing that as well. And
Oh, yeah.
to me, it's an instant turn off that or responding to negative videos. There's this
Yeah.
certain formula that people do just to get the views up. And a long time ago when I got online, I was like, I don't care if I never have any followers. I'm not going to
Yeah.
grow based on negativity and
Yes.
putting people down. And yeah, I have a lot to say, but I'm not going to
Yeah.
say it in that forum in that way. I really like you giving these tips. So looking, is it multiple different versions of the same thing, the age of
Yeah.
the account, the followers, all that kind of stuff. I know right now the biggest trend is the post-divorce effect videos where they show the before and
Yeah.
after. It's like total
Hmm.
AI, totally made up.
Yeah.
That's just the latest wave of the before and after trend that we're seeing.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you think about it, it again feeds into that loop of, oh, I'm angry. I'm so angry. I'm going to comment. I'm going to do this. And then you see a nice little doggy video and you're like, oh my God, that's so amazing. And then you go and you see something else. And it's, let's put the phones down.
Yeah,
Let's start from the top. Let's go back to the beginning. Let's get that book. Let's read it. Because the more we engage with this stuff, is the more they're going to just bring more of it out. You know what I mean?
totally. If someone specifically is in this sort of, I feel like the weight loss GLP-1 space is even
Hmm.
the worst. And again, I come from metabolic health and things like that, but people
Hmm.
will use the term weight loss. Are there any big red flags for accounts or program or experts that people are they're trying to grift off of that? Do you think there's any clues for people as well, what they should look for?
Well, honestly, and I'm making some pushback for this, but I only truly listen to doctors and people that are in
I
the medical
approve.
field. So, you know what I mean? But like,
I
I
agree.
don't, because I enjoy content from GLP-1 users. I love it, and they got me through my journey. But, you know, there is a bit of a salesy part to that as well.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd be working and I'd be in the lives and I'd hear so much medical recommendations. And that kind of gave me the cringe. And it was just like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Because
I know.
I know my journey was so different from everyone else. Like I never went past five, and I always was like a workout person. So like it was just like, it all came together really well for me. But that's not going to be everybody's journey. And I have friends and family members who are on the journey right now, and they're like asking me for advice, and I'm like, ask your doctor, because I don't want to even step in that space and be that kind of a voice for them. But I feel like when it comes to GLP-1 and weight loss and all of that other stuff, it's such a sensitive topic where everyone is super vulnerable. So it's super easy to prey on people who desperately want to lose the weight and desperately want to not be in the body that they're in anymore. So I think for me, I love someone who has just have some sort of medical background.
Yeah.
That's number one for me. I prioritize that over everyone. And Everyone else I take with a grain of salt. I really do. And I love them and I care about them as
Right.
people, but I can't listen to them because they're not professionals.
Right. I find they're not held to the same standard. I went to this training a little while ago here, and it was like a 5 hour obesity medicine, all of that. But it was not by an MD or a DO. It was,
Hmm.
I'm not going to like out the organization, but the point, anyway, I sat through it, but there were multiple times when the information was incorrect. And I'm not going to
Yeah.
sit there and say it in the Zoom chat. That's not my place. I'm not the one that's
Yeah.
running it. But I
Yeah.
was just sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, there's maybe 30 people on this call that are vehemently taking notes, that are thinking that
Yeah.
this is the correct thing. And I just thought about how easy this is to misguide so many
Yeah.
people. And that's one of the only reasons, to be honest, that I'm online because I don't really
Yeah.
want to be online. But
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that really gets to me that that information is so easy to get out there, but the correct stuff isn't because it's not packaged
Yeah.
as amazing.
I just want to take the time to give you your flowers because I've been
Oh.
listening. I've been listening to you for years. And once I found your account, I was like, yeah, boom, good. You know what I mean? I knew that whatever video came across my feed, it was going to be well thought out. It was going to be from a medical professional, and I could listen, I could absorb that information, have it help me on my journey. I just wanted to say thank you publicly for being so awesome online.
How much that means to me because especially with how you do stuff online too, I think you really get it, how hard it is to be out there. And
Yeah, it
just
is.
thank you for that. I don't think that people sometimes know how hard it is to turn the camera on and to do things and to
And
just
press
thank you. That
post.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So switching gears a little bit, do you think there are things that in general people should do for their safety online? Do you recommend any of these services where it goes and deletes all the personal information, or are there just things
Mm.
in general we should do?
The first thing I would recommend is two-factor authorization on everything that offers it, take it. The second thing I would recommend is to trust your gut. Try to have some sort of conscious engagement. Really take time because sometimes it happens to me. I see a video and they're gorgeous and they're beautiful, and it's like your first inclination is I trust them because they look so good. You know what I mean? And it's just like, wait,
Pause.
pause. Pause. Just because they look good don't mean that what they're saying is correct. So, like, really taking your time to critically think throughout every single video that you see. It may sound great, it may be packaged wonderfully, but is it true? Do you need to do your own research on this? That is the most important thing. And I truly believe in trusting your gut. I do. And if something feels off, it probably is.
First of all, the two-factor authentication, it is so annoying to set up, but I have it for everything. And I cannot tell
Everything.
you, like, every 6 months, someone tries to hack my Instagram. And I
Yeah.
know because I'm getting a request for a second authentication, it's wrong, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously I'm changing passwords and stuff all the time, but
Yep.
and this critically thinking, the other day I saw a hair loss commercial, right? Some product. I feel like I must talk about it a lot or something, and my phone hears me. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and this lady she has all this lush hair, right? It's like 10 mountains of hair that she probably had 10 wigs on. And she's like, in 3 weeks, it was longer and thicker. And I'm like, the hair life cycle is months. So when
Yeah.
you said 3 weeks, we know it's a lie. The whole ad is a lie.
Right.
And
Right.
it really honestly, especially with hair where it's so personal and intimate and
Yes.
identity forming. And so I could see how someone would just click and buy it just to see if it
Immediately.
helps. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're talking about trusting your gut, it's a big one because I think a lot of us have just specifically talking about the weight area for a second, we've learned to
Hmm.
not trust ourselves over time because we've been told you need to calorie restrict, you need to
Oh my
move more.
gosh,
Like we're
yes.
always told you are wrong, you are lazy, you are doing all these
Yeah.
things. And it's not anything that is loving, compassionate, kind, understanding of physiology. When you bring
Yeah.
this up, I think it takes time for us to be able to trust our gut, especially when it
Oh, it
comes to
does.
a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, and it takes confidence. You really have to build it over time and really understand that, okay, well, this is working. This may not be working right now, but this is working. And maybe it didn't work last week, but it's still working. And I think even in my own personal journey where it was just, I didn't lose, I think the most I've lost in a month was 2 pounds.
That's
And
lightning speed compared to me.
I mean, like it was,
You're
I mean, and whenever I saw negative point zero 0.01, woo, like I was so excited. You know what I mean? When I see people online who are like I only lost 5 pounds this week. I'm like, what? Huh? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only?
But I'm like a crusader right now online for glamorizing slow transformation. So I made a video on YouTube the other day. I'm trying to get more active there. And I talked about how it was like slow over 6 years. That was like the title. And I'm like, let's get this message out instead of
Yeah.
glorifying the before and after culture that's
Oh
not
my
really
gosh.
rooted in
Yeah.
real health change.
Yeah. And I actually have not shared any before and afters online. I've
Yeah.
been tempted, but I have not. And obviously, all my friends and family have seen the transformation. I've been completely open and honest about how it's happened and so forth. And they've always known me as a athlete. So like
Yeah.
to kind of push the two together has been like super, super fun. But again, it was no loss, point 0.2 loss.
Yeah.
Maybe a little gain here and there, but it was slow. It was really slow. But I liked it that way. And I liked that I still knew something was happening and I was
Yes.
still trusting in the process and trusting in my gut that I would get to where I'm in maintenance now, but get
Yeah.
to where I wanted to get.
Yeah.
And when I got there, it was the sweetest thing. It really was the sweetest
Total-
thing
I
because
mean,
the trust.
incredible. I mean, so I've obviously been following you for years and
Yeah,
you would show videos of doing different exercise things and I'm like, "Oh
yeah,
my gosh, look how strong she is. Look at these things that she's building out." I loved seeing it because it's just
yeah.
clear that you were doing these things and it wasn't like this external motivation, if that makes
No.
sense. Yeah.
In my head, I am like Serena Williams. I'm an athlete. I'm
Oh
an
my
athlete.
gosh,
You know what I mean? Like I've won many, many championships. I'm Asia Wilson. Like in my head, that's me, you know?
I
So
love that you I love that
I'm
you bring
doing
this up because I'm the same and I'm like, why do people feel bad about themselves? Like, I'm going to celebrate everything all day long.
everything. 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 I actually just registered for, do you know what High Rocks is?
No.
Oh, High Rocks is a competition. It's a fitness competition. It's very, very popular these days. It sells out in minutes. And it's basically where you're running and you're strength training with thousands of other people. It's like the
Wow.
most insane thing. Look it up. It's High Rocks. And I signed up for a High Rocks competition in May. And I'm telling you, if someone would have said this to me 3 years ago, I would have been like, oh, please get out of my face. Like,
Right.
but like now I'm like, no, we're gonna do it. You know what I
Bring
mean?
on
Like,
the
and that is
challenge.
yeah, I'm an athlete in my own head. You know what I mean? So,
I love that. Well, I'm so excited if you share any of it online. I'm so excited
oh
to be
yeah,
able to see it and learn more. That's going to be amazing.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I love how over time we do things differently that we would have never considered
yeah,
before. It's
yeah,
beautiful. Because I always tell people like we don't need to skip to that version of ourselves. There's many versions in between, and it's actually
yeah,
nice when it just like naturally unfolds. It's really beautiful.
absolutely.
Coming to one other thing, because I know that I
Yeah.
want to make sure to respect your time, but let's say that
Oh yeah,
someone knows I've been scammed, like something has happened.
yeah,
Are there any safety things afterward to do?
yeah. So the first thing I want everyone to know is that everybody can get scammed. These scammers are some of the smartest people. They have been working on people and how they think for years.
Yeah.
Okay. So when I see people who are brave enough to share their stories online about how they've been scammed, and then I look at the comment section, it's like, oh my God, this would never happen to me. How did you miss this red flag? That it's like, no,
No,
it
they
will
know.
happen to anyone.
Yeah, I remember it almost happened to me. They have a scam where they call you as a physician and they say you missed a subpoena to show up for a patient case.
Oh my
And so
gosh.
you think you've been summoned, that you didn't hear it, that now there's a problem. And eventually I was like, okay, this is crazy. At some point it didn't make sense, but initially they know enough where you think, wow, this is serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. There's so much of your information that's out there. People that are watching your stories, people that are just, they see your names, they Google you. I don't know if anybody's Googled themselves recently, but you will show up in the most random places. Like your name will show up in the most, so they put these pieces together of you. It's very easy to get scammed. The first thing is if it's something that you've clicked on, I know it's really, we talked about this two-factor authentication stuff. It's really difficult to get in contact with like social media companies, unfortunately, but just try to change your password as soon as possible. If it's something that you have paid for, call the bank immediately. Do not call mom crying about it. Just call the bank immediately so that you can figure that out and get that card shut down. If it's someone, and I teach about this in my scams class, if it's someone that's calling you and saying that your family member is in trouble, and this is the biggest one lately,
Yeah.
you have to hang up the phone and call the family member. You just
Yeah.
do. They're demanding money, especially. Why would somebody call you and demand money because your family member's in trouble? They've already hooked you with your family member being in trouble, and now you're gonna give money. Stop, take a beat, take a beat.
Yeah.
Understand that this is not your fault, that people are awful, and people
Yeah.
are just trying to get as much out of folks as possible. And I've
I
seen it
know.
so much recently. My mom even has a friend who is posing as a newscaster, her favorite newscaster, and she thinks that man is real. And she's been sending money, and it's like,
Oh.
hello, like, but
The
she can't.
romance scams are hard because
They're
people are
really
really in
terrible.
it. They really,
They're
they don't believe
really
you.
It's
Yeah.
really nasty work. It's really nasty work. And
Yeah.
it's a matter of taking a beat, figuring out what's the next step, what's the next step, and doing it as quickly as possible.
Yeah. This is really good advice. Do you think there's anything that we didn't talk about today that is really foundational? Like people need to hear this?
I think it's probably what we were talking about before about community. I think it's time we really step forward and building in real life community again.
Yeah.
Like we really had something special pre-devices, and I think there's a healthy way to combine the two.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not laying down on your couch scrolling after a hard day is blissful.
Yeah.
It's wonderful, but like you can't do that every day.
Right. It doesn't
You just
long term
can't.
restore you is the problem. Like in that moment, you get a little dopamine hit, but you don't like a week later feel amazing.
You don't,
Yeah.
And so I'm just encouraging everyone to take that time, even if it's the weather's getting nicer, to go to the park, to sit and people watch and do the simple things that we've somehow lost along the way.
Yeah, I love that you bring this up and also marrying the two because I find there's a lot of people in my community. I run this group program called 30/30, and it's not even about the information because I always say, look, all the information exists out there. You can hobble and cobble it together. Yes, it might be in an easier place when you're coming to me, but the only reason you would join 30/30 is because you want to be in a community where it's not diet culture, where people actually support each other.
Yeah.
That's the magic, right?
Yes,
And then it's no shock that in-person events have come out of it because people want to actually meet when they've been talking for years.
that's
There's an
it.
actual human connection. I often say, if I, God forbid, found out that one of them had breast cancer or something, I would go fly out to them. It's like you actually
Absolutely.
care about the person. They're not just
Yes.
a little anonymous person commenting, like you actually care. And that's a
Yeah.
whole nother level that I really think people need to know. Unfortunately, with suicide rates being so high, people need to know I'm loved and cared for and I have a
Period.
place where
Yeah.
I belong. And that's part of it, to be
Yeah,
honest.
and I have another example of that. In 2023, I started going because I'm a very big Peloton person. You can't see here, but I have a
I
bike,
love
a
it.
row, and a tread in my office. So like I'm obsessed with them and they know it, and I know
Yeah.
it. So in 2023, I started going back to the actual studios.
Yeah.
So I go to the studios now almost every week. And we have created the most awesome community. So now they spent my whole birthday with me, and
Oh,
we support everyone. I was at the New York Half a couple of days ago supporting my Peloton girls that were running it out there in the cold. Even though I have everything here, going out and seeing instructors and seeing my friends, like running next to my friends and rowing and biking, it's just been the best thing I've ever, like the best decision I've ever made, because now I have this community of girlfriends and guy friends that are just, we are fitness people. We're fitness people. We love it. But like outside of that, we know each other and we love
right.
each other and we chat. We
Right.
chat before class. We chat after class. We chat in the locker room. Forget about it. They hate when we're there because we're, you know what I mean? So it's just like, but it's like one of the best decisions I made, especially post COVID, where I was just, I don't know what to do now. But just walking into that gym and showing up every week has created some of the best connections of my life,
Oh,
honestly.
I love hearing this and also just to hear how diverse it can be. I know
Yeah.
for me, like I'm finding some scrapbooking events, right? Like where everyone
Yes.
brings their supplies and there's, it's like a
Hmm.
just industrial table and everyone's having
Yes,
fun, but together. And there's just something so different about that. So I love hearing your example and it's just really endless is the point. And so I
it
love
is.
how you're bringing that up and how important this is. Thank you so much for coming on today, for giving
You're
us your
welcome.
time. I've learned so much. This has been honestly one of my favorite interviews ever. Can
Oh
you
my gosh.
can you tell everybody how can they find you online? Kind of what are the best ways to connect with you after this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. So my company is BAM Digital Media LLC, and my company, we teach classes to NYC students, elders, and parents. And I am on TikTok at Brooklyn Active Mama, on Instagram at Glam Nellie. And if anybody wants to reach out, I'd love to chat.
I love that. Thank you so much. We're going to make sure to put it all in the show notes. So anyone that's
Yeah.
listening, rentiaclinic.com, click on podcast, and right there is going to be the episode. We have all of this linked and everything that we talked about in a written format if you want to make sure to not miss anything. Thanks again for coming on and sharing all this with us.
Of course.
That marks the end of today's episode. But if you're newer to the podcast, I want to tell you about something that we have, and it's a free podcast roadmap. So this is perfect for any of you that are listening where you want to be directed to very specific episodes. So let's say that you are just starting out and you want to know, what should I do right when I start on the medications? Or you're experiencing certain side effects on the GLP-1s, or you want to know what to do if you're in a plateau, or if emotional eating is taking over, or if hunger levels are high. So we have many different categories of episodes that we've talked about, because there's a lot at this point. So if you want to be able to navigate that very easily, we have it broken down by category and also the episodes that are there, and we hyperlink to everything. So you can just click on it and find the episode, easy peasy. If you want that, you can go to rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. We'll have it linked right here underneath the show notes where you're listening. And you can go ahead and get that free resource so that it makes it easy for you to navigate, because I know that it's really hard when someone has an established podcast. I am such a podcast fiend. I'm listening to podcasts all day long. And when I find one that I love, but there's a lot that are out there, I am so lost. So I hope that you enjoy this free podcast roadmap. Again, the link to get to that is going to be rentiaclinic.com/podcast roadmap. I hope this is helpful, and let me know if you have any questions.